China, often dubbed the most complex and multifaceted nation on Earth, holds a reputation that is as controversial as it is fascinating. It is frequently referred to as the most sinful country, a phrase that hints at the deep and sometimes troubling facets of its history and society. Yet beyond these stark labels lies a country of astonishing diversity, resilient culture, and extraordinary scale, an entire world within a single landmass. Living in China, or simply observing it from afar, reveals a reality that can be both bewildering and awe-inspiring, a landscape where ancient traditions and cutting-edge modernity coexist in a constant dance. To truly understand China is a challenge that could take a lifetime, or even many lifetimes, because its vastness surpasses common comprehension. The country is so enormous that if it were placed on a map without borders, it could effortlessly swallow up the entirety of Europe. Covering an area of approximately 9,600,000 square kilometers, China ranks as the third largest nation in the world, coming just behind Russia and Canada. Traveling from its eastern coast, where bustling metropolises like Shanghai and Beijing lie, to its remote western borders across the rugged terrains and deserts, is a journey that stretches over 5,000 kilometers. A distance greater than the route from New York City to Los Angeles or even the plains of Kansas. This immense territory allows China to share borders with 14 different countries, more than any other nation on the planet, creating a complex web of geopolitical relationships and cultural exchanges. When you compare China to other global giants, many are surprised to learn that its landmass is nearly equal to that of the United States. However, due to the peculiarity of its geography and development patterns, China's vast size manifests in a landscape of striking contrasts and diverse environments. The northern regions boast the towering, snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas, home to the legendary Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth. Moving southward, one encounters the stark, arid deserts of Xinjiang, where the sun beats down relentlessly, and the lush, terraced rice fields of Guizhou province, which cascade down mountainsides in intricate patterns of green. On the tropical island of Hainan, the climate is warm and inviting year-round, with dense forests and pristine beaches. Not far from these lush environments lies the Turpan Depression, a remarkable natural phenomenon that plunges over 150 meters below sea level, creating a stark contrast to the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas. This geographical diversity directly influences the climate across China's vast expanse. Winters in the north can be brutally cold, with temperatures plummeting to -20 degrees Celsius, bringing snow and ice that transform the landscape into a winter wonderland. Conversely, in the southern regions, the climate remains mild and inviting throughout the year, akin to the warm subtropical atmosphere of Florida. Such climate variability means that living conditions, agricultural practices, and even cultural customs can differ dramatically from one region to another within the same country. China's population is another aspect that underscores its colossal scale. With nearly 1,400,000,000 inhabitants, it is the most populous country in the world, housing approximately 18% of the entire human population. To put that into perspective, every fifth person on Earth is Chinese. This staggering demographic fact influences every facet of life, from urban development and economic activity to cultural traditions and social norms. The population is composed of 56 officially recognized ethnic groups, each with its own unique language, customs, and traditions. The Han ethnicity constitutes the overwhelming majority, making up more than 91% of the population. The remaining minority groups include Tibetans nestled in the mountainous regions, Hui Muslims living primarily in the northwest, and the Manchus, who historically played a significant role in Chinese history and now reside mainly in the northeast. The official language of China is Putonghua, also known as Standard Chinese, which is spoken by over 1 billion people and serves as a unifying linguistic force. Despite this standardization, the linguistic landscape is anything but uniform. The country is home to dozens of regional dialects and local languages, some so distinct that a person from Shanghai might find it difficult to understand a native of Guangdong due to differences in pronunciation, vocabulary, and tone. For those who have studied Chinese, the complexity becomes even more apparent. A single Chinese character, or hieroglyph, can have more than 10 different pronunciations depending on context, tone, and regional variation. For instance, the word ma can mean mother, horse, or scold, all depending on the intonation used when speaking. This linguistic intricacy illustrates not only the richness of Chinese language and culture, but also the challenges faced by learners and speakers alike. Looking back through history, China stands as one of the most ancient civilizations in the world, with a continuous history spanning more than 5,000 years. Its dynastic eras, most notably the Han, Tang, Song, and Ming, are remembered as times of immense cultural, technological, and artistic flourishing, leaving behind the moniker, the huge dragon of Asia, is no accident, for China's rapid and immense growth has earned it this striking nickname. But what exactly has fueled such an extraordinary transformation, turning this vast land into a powerhouse of innovation and development? The answer lies in a complex blend of historical resilience, economic reforms, and cultural shifts, which we will explore in detail in the 9th section. Stay with us as we delve into the factors that have propelled China onto the global stage in such a formidable way. Turning to another fascinating aspect of Chinese society, it is undeniable that many Chinese women hold a special place in international admiration. There is a long-standing appreciation for their gentle demeanor, refined elegance, and captivating beauty. Their appearance often features luminous, fair skin, slender and graceful figures, and facial features that embody harmony and balance, elements that reflect traditional East Asian aesthetic ideals. Yet what makes their beauty even more intriguing is the remarkable variation observed across different regions within China itself. Women from the northern parts of the country tend to be taller, with more pronounced and expressive facial features that convey strength and character. Conversely, women from the southern regions are often petite, with soft, delicate features that exude a gentle charm and prettiness. Regions such as Sichuan, Yunnan, and Shanghai have long been celebrated as havens where a particularly high concentration of enchanting women can be found, each with their own unique allure. But their attractiveness extends far beyond mere physical appearance. Chinese women possess an innate charm that combines elegance with poise, allowing them to navigate social situations with grace and tact. They are admired not only for their external beauty, but also for their inner qualities, traditional values rooted in filial piety, respect for family, and cultural decorum. At the same time, modern Chinese women embody a progressive spirit. They are hardworking, fiercely dedicated to their families, yet also independent and ambitious in their careers. In today's rapidly evolving society, especially in the bustling metropolises, an increasing number of women are striving for professional achievement. They take diligent care of their appearance, pursue personal growth, and maintain an open-minded approach toward love and marriage. These women are not shy about expressing their opinions, but they do so with gentle tact and considerate diplomacy. It is precisely this openness and confidence that have made many Chinese women increasingly receptive to international relationships. Over the past decade, statistics reveal that approximately 10,000 to 20,000 Chinese women marry foreigners each year. If you are interested in the idea of meeting and perhaps marrying a beautiful Chinese woman, leave a comment with the number 4. We will then share with you the secret, an almost little-known truth that can help you win her heart, a secret rarely discussed openly. Moving on to a distinctly different topic, China's reputation for producing astonishingly inexpensive luxury and everyday goods is well known. you can often find an iPhone, a pair of Nike sneakers, or even a luxury Louis Vuitton bag at a fraction of their retail prices, sometimes so low that it seems almost unbelievable. Cities such as Shenzhen and Yiwu have become infamous as hubs for counterfeit merchandise, drawing both curious shoppers and dubious traders alike. Yiwu, in particular, has earned the nickname as the world's largest counterfeit supermarket, a sprawling marketplace where countless copies of branded products are available. Here, you can browse through rows of imitation clothes, handbags, watches, phones, and even complex electronic components, all crafted to mimic the originals with startling accuracy. Remarkably, some retail zones specialize exclusively in selling high-quality Class A counterfeits. These copies are so meticulously made that even experienced experts often need to examine them closely to distinguish the fake from the genuine article. Major international brands and renowned technology companies such as Apple, Adidas, Gucci, and Chanel are frequent targets of these counterfeit operations, which often produce convincing imitations that flood the market. The amusing side of this trend is the proliferation of humorous knockoffs with playful variations on the brand names, such as Miang for Nike, Abibas for Adidas, Doles for Dior, Banana Channel for Chanel, and others. However, China's enthusiasm for imitation does not stop at consumer goods. The country has ambitiously extended its creative efforts into reproducing famous landmarks around the world. Entire replicas of iconic structures like the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, the canals of Venice, London Bridge, and even the picturesque Austrian village of Hallstatt have been built within Chinese territory. These replicas serve various purposes, from tourist attractions and amusement parks to symbols of technological skill and cultural mimicry, demonstrating China's unique approach to blending imitation with innovation. Despite ongoing disputes over copyright, these counterfeit copies continue to draw enormous crowds of local tourists eager to experience something familiar yet different. From a simple pair of sneakers to miniature versions of entire European cities, China has demonstrated a remarkable ability to replicate almost anything. The saying goes, if there's an original, you can make a copy. And in many cases, these reproductions not only serve as affordable alternatives, but sometimes even outsell the authentic items. This phenomenon raises intriguing questions about the world of fakes. What do you think about it? Have you ever encountered something that felt painfully recognizable, yet subtly altered? If so, write the number 6 in the comments below as a way to connect with that shared experience of familiarity tinged with slight difference. But hold on, there is even more astonishing to discover. In China, there exists a market that surpasses even the world of counterfeit goods in its uniqueness and wonder: the marriage market. This fascinating aspect of Chinese social life is so intriguing that it warrants a special mention in a later fact, number 7. So be sure not to miss that. Turning to another aspect of China's rich and diverse living arrangements, it is astonishing to consider that more than 35 million people still dwell in caves. These traditional dwellings are especially prevalent in regions characterized by high mountain ranges, such as Tibet and the western parts of the country. In these areas, it is not uncommon to see homes and temples perched atop mountain peaks or built into steep slopes, primarily as an ancient defense mechanism against floods and invaders. For instance, Pihua Mountain presents a striking example where houses and spiritual temples are directly constructed onto the cliffs of one of China's 5 sacred mountains. These structures offer breathtaking panoramic views and a naturally cool climate, making them both functional and visually stunning. In the rocky terrains of Guangxi and Sichuan provinces, villages like Penggan or the Huangxian Valley are nestled into the mountainsides, creating scenes so picturesque that they seem almost unreal. Visitors often find it hard to believe that local residents managed to carve out such homes in these rugged environments. The tranquil, almost magical beauty of these mountain villages imparts an otherworldly atmosphere that transports visitors to a realm far removed from everyday life, as if they have stepped into a different universe altogether. Moreover, there exists a lesser-known but equally fascinating facet of Chinese architecture: the traditional cave dwellings called yaodong. Over 35 million people still live in these distinctive homes, primarily on the forest plateau regions of Shaanxi, Shanxi and Gansu provinces. These dwellings are either directly carved into the hillside or constructed as arched structures from compacted soil, blending seamlessly into the natural landscape. Their unique shape allows them to retain heat during the cold winter months while remaining cool throughout the hot summers, making them ideally suited for the region's often harsh climate. This ancient form of housing exemplifies ingenuity and adaptation, providing comfort and practicality in challenging conditions. Moving beyond these architectural marvels, China's digital landscape is equally fascinating. With a population of approximately 1,400,000,000 people, it is no surprise that China has developed a highly self-contained internet environment. The so-called Great Chinese Firewall, a term popularized by Western media, describes the advanced system of internet control implemented by the Chinese government. This vast and sophisticated network includes a combination of technical tools, legal regulations, and service controls designed to restrict access to certain online content. Its purpose is to prevent citizens from accessing information that the state considers inappropriate, harmful, or potentially destabilizing to national interests. The origins of this system date back to 1996, when it was launched under the name Project Golden Shield. Initially overseen by the Ministry of Public Security, control of the firewall was transferred in 2013 to the Cyberspace Administration of China. The firewall's operation involves a comprehensive blocking of specific websites and the filtering of unwanted content on otherwise accessible platforms. This meticulous shaping of the internet space ensures that online information aligns with government policies and standards, creating a controlled digital environment that functions as a separate, self-sufficient cyber realm. As a consequence of strict government controls and censorship, the vast majority of Chinese citizens find themselves limited to using only domestic digital services, since access to international platforms is effectively blocked. Since 2009, major international social media giants such as Facebook and YouTube have been inaccessible within China's borders, their websites and apps blocked by government decree. Similarly, Google, which once dominated the global search engine market, faced the same fate during that same year, forcing users to turn elsewhere for their online needs. While companies like Amazon do operate within China, they encounter stiff competition from a multitude of government-owned and domestically developed platforms that have captured the local market. Given this landscape, what do Chinese people turn to when they want to communicate, browse, or shop online? The answer lies in the remarkable rise of WeChat, China's leading super app that consolidates a wide array of functions into a single, seamless interface. This app is more than just a messaging platform. It is an all-encompassing digital ecosystem that connects social media, electronic wallet services, appointment scheduling, online shopping, tax payments, and much more. Losing one's wallet might be inconvenient, but in China, losing access to WeChat, the core component of WeChat, is often likened to losing one's entire life. This app has become so deeply embedded in daily life that it is regarded as indispensable. It serves as the most popular open social network in the country, a digital space that resembles a hybrid of Twitter and Instagram in its multifaceted nature. Here, celebrities, government agencies, and millions of ordinary citizens converge, sharing updates, news, and personal moments. The importance of WeChat cannot be overstated. It acts as a digital hub that influences everything from social interactions to official communications. Beyond social networking, a dominant search engine called Baidu has emerged as the primary alternative to Google, effectively replacing the American giant within China's borders. Baidu offers much more than just search capabilities. It has expanded into cloud services, mapping, artificial intelligence, and even driverless car technologies. In fact, Baidu is often seen as Google's main domestic competitor, pushing innovation and capturing a significant share of the Chinese tech market. Despite the widespread presence of these platforms, many Chinese users rely daily on virtual private networks, or VPNs, and similar tools to circumvent the so-called Great Firewall and access-blocked international sites. It is estimated that tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions, of Chinese citizens employ such tools to bypass censorship every day. However, this practice is becoming increasingly difficult each year as the government continually upgrades its cyberspace governance infrastructure, tightening controls and making it harder to access foreign content. Given the state monopoly over internet regulation in China, it is no surprise that in a nation with a population of approximately 1,400,000,000 people, the digital landscape is tightly controlled. Political figures or celebrities can vanish from public view overnight if deemed undesirable, highlighting the swift and sometimes unpredictable nature of Chinese online life. Moving from the digital realm to cultural traditions, one finds the ancient practice of burning paper money, a ritual that has undergone significant modernization in recent years. Traditionally, the custom of burning paper offerings is rooted in the spiritual veneration of ancestors and the remembrance of the deceased. According to long-standing Chinese beliefs, burning paper representations of money, horses, clothing, houses, and other valuables serves as a symbolic transfer of material goods to the departed. The goal is to ensure that the spirits of the ancestors can enjoy a comfortable and prosperous existence in the afterlife, mirroring the material wealth they once possessed in life. In contemporary China, however, this age-old practice has evolved to reflect modern realities and technological advancements. Instead of simple paper bills or traditional objects, today's offerings often feature items that symbolize modern lifestyles: smartphones, tablets, laptops, luxury automobiles, and even multi-story villas. To keep pace with contemporary tastes and needs, the ritual now also includes representations of credit cards, bank statements showing balances in billions of yuan, and other symbols of wealth and status. Many believe that ancestors in the afterlife should also stay current with the times, embracing modern comforts and technological advancements. This shift has led to a booming industry that supplies ritual paper money and symbolic offerings, especially during major holidays like Qingming, the Tomb Sweeping Festival, and the Chinese New Year. During these times, the burning of paper money and symbolic objects reaches extraordinary levels. Reports estimate that Chinese citizens burn nearly 1,000 tons of paper offerings annually, generating a market valued at around $30 billion. The industry caters to a growing demand for these symbolic items, blending ancient customs with modern symbolism and reflecting the enduring importance of ancestral veneration in contemporary Chinese society. In addition to these cultural traditions, another unique social phenomenon highlights the ongoing tension between tradition and modernity: the specialized marriage market. This is a distinctive aspect of Chinese social life that vividly illustrates how age-old customs coexist with contemporary societal pressures. In many cities, parents gather in large parks, with Shanghai's People's Park serving as a prime. To facilitate the search for suitable marriage partners for their children, many parents in China turn to a unique and somewhat traditional method. They set up special information boards. These boards, often displayed in public spaces or within the bustling markets, detail essential personal information such as the child's age, educational background, profession, income level, and what qualities they seek in a future spouse. Although the process might seem informal compared to modern dating practices, it functions effectively within the cultural context. The so-called laundry market, a colloquial term for these matchmaking spaces, attracts numerous participants each week. These gatherings are especially lively on weekends, when parents typically have more free time to engage in the search and discussion. Despite the advent and increasing popularity of online dating applications and platforms, China's traditional marriage market continues to flourish and maintain its relevance. Many parents perceive this method as a quick and efficient way to help their children find a compatible partner, believing it streamlines the process amid the busy lives of young people. Today's youth are often deeply immersed in their careers and personal pursuits, leaving them little time or social opportunity to actively seek out a life partner on their own. The marriage market, therefore, becomes a practical solution, offering a community-based approach that accelerates the matchmaking process. However, this involvement of parents in their children's romantic lives has sparked considerable debate and controversy. A significant number of young individuals feel overwhelmed or even uncomfortable about having their private details displayed publicly in such a manner. They perceive it as an intrusion into their personal space and a loss of independence. Although the younger generation increasingly desires to make their own choices regarding love and life, traditional parents often see their active participation as a necessary duty rooted in long-standing cultural values. These values emphasize the importance of family, filial piety, and the continuation of the family line, viewing marriage as a vital step toward fulfilling one's societal and familial obligations. This perspective is deeply ingrained in Chinese cultural norms where family harmony and procreation are often regarded as paramount. Adding to this complexity is the societal and demographic context, notably the gender imbalance that has been prevalent in China for decades. This imbalance, combined with societal pressures to marry by a certain age, often considered the milestone of adulthood, further intensifies the urgency and importance placed on finding a spouse. In this environment, the marriage market becomes not just a personal choice but a social expectation, reinforcing traditional notions of duty and family continuity. Turning away from social customs to explore one of China's most remarkable historical sites, the tomb of the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, lies hidden beneath the earth in Shanxi province. This monument stands as one of the most grandiose and enigmatic structures in human history, embodying both extraordinary craftsmanship and profound historical significance. Constructed after Qin Shi Huang unified China in 221 BC, his tomb is a testament to his desire for eternal dominance. For the Chinese people, victory in the earthly realm was seen as fleeting and temporary. Therefore, the emperor believed he needed to safeguard his power beyond death. This belief drove him to commission the creation of a vast underground mausoleum, designed not merely as a final resting place but as a subterranean palace that would serve him in the afterlife. The tomb complex is famous for its life-size terracotta army, a formidable force of over 8,000 warriors meticulously crafted to be armed and ready for battle. These clay soldiers are positioned facing east, the direction from which enemies were believed to threaten the emperor. The construction of this elaborate army and the tomb itself spanned nearly 38 years, involving the labor of approximately 700,000 workers who dedicated their lives to this monumental project. The entire site covers an area of more than 213 hectares, and the depth of the tomb is equivalent to a 10-story building, making it an underground city of astonishing scale. This burial site is no ordinary tomb. It is a carefully designed underground palace that seeks to recreate the world of the living beneath the Earth's surface. Inside, engineers installed complex security measures, including self-propelled crossbow traps intended to deter potential intruders. The level of mercury found within the tomb is said to be about 280 times the legal limit, a deliberate attempt to produce a shimmering, water-like effect and perhaps to serve as a protective barrier. Some historical sources suggest that the tomb was illuminated by lamps fueled by fish oil, and there are legends of the so-called mermaid lamps, which purportedly burned perpetually, though such stories remain unconfirmed by modern science. Recognized globally for its exceptional historical, cultural, and artistic significance, the tomb of Qin Shi Huang has been designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its preservation and ongoing study continue to attract millions of visitors each year, estimated between 1,800,000 and 2 million, who come to marvel at the site's grandeur and to learn about China's first imperial dynasty. The influx of tourists provides significant economic benefits to the surrounding region, contributing to local development and cultural exchange. Yet despite the extensive excavations and studies, the central core of Qin, even after more than 2 millennia have passed, the ancient monument continues to stand as one of the greatest enigmas in human history. It serves as an enduring testament to a once mighty empire, symbolizing the ambitions and achievements of a civilization that sought immortality through its monumental structures. This monument reflects the grandeur and the complex legacy of an emperor whose obsession with power and legacy left an indelible mark on history, inspiring awe and mystery that persist to this day. Moving from the distant past to the present, a different kind of cultural phenomenon has taken root in modern China, one that is often described as the 996 culture. This term refers to a work ethic characterized by 12-hour workdays, 6 days a week, from 9 in the morning until 9 in the evening. The phrase encapsulates a relentless and exaggerated sense of loyalty and dedication, where the boundaries between personal life and professional obligations blur almost to the point of disappearance. It is a culture that in many ways echoes the intensity of extreme dedication, but also reveals a troubling tendency to indoctrinate workers into believing that sacrificing their health, personal freedom, and leisure time is not only necessary but honorable. The recruitment process itself exemplifies these high expectations. Candidates under the age of 35 are required to possess an almost impossible combination of qualifications: multiple degrees, including at least 2 master's degrees and a doctoral degree, all before they even have a chance at securing a position. This intense scrutiny reflects the fierce competition among hundreds of thousands of recent graduates who annually await their turn to join the workforce. Conversely, individuals over 35 are often considered automatically eligible regardless of their experience or skills, even though labor laws strictly limit the standard work week to 44 hours. Yet once employed, workers find themselves trapped in a demanding schedule that extends well beyond legal limits, working from 9 in the morning until 9 at night, 6 days a week, and sometimes even around the clock, with some companies expecting employees to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Expressing dissatisfaction or attempting to resist the grueling schedule is generally met with silence or indifference, as the labor market is tightly controlled by powerful corporations. If a worker attempts to leave the company, they often face a line of eager replacements waiting to fill their position, rendering complaints or resignations nearly impossible. The workday does not end at the office. It often continues into the evening, where socializing takes on a coercive dimension. After hours, employees are coerced into participating in drinking sessions where they are served potent alcohol, sometimes with alcohol content ranging from 30 to 60%. These sessions are not optional but enforced, with workers compelled to drink until their faces flush bright red, some suffering severe health consequences such as stomach bleeding or hospitalization. Refusing to partake is considered rude or a loss of face, risking not only social ostracism but also the loss of their jobs. In many instances, employees are compelled to sign confidentiality agreements to prevent the disclosure of the harsh realities of this work culture. Legal professionals are often hesitant to challenge the immense power wielded by these corporate giants, and many workers simply accept their circumstances, resigned to the systemic imbalance. Once celebrated as exemplars of innovation and progress, industry giants like Alibaba and Huawei once openly promoted the 996 schedule as a golden opportunity for success and growth. However, after conflicts with the Communist Party, due to the scale and influence of these corporations, they were compelled to publicly denounce such practices. Nonetheless, the underlying pressure remains pervasive. The post-pandemic economic downturn has only intensified these issues, as the number of highly skilled jobs has sharply declined. Many young professionals, exhausted by the relentless office grind, have resorted to alternative forms of employment, working as couriers on assembly lines, or even pretending to work while actually engaging in activities that allow them to escape the oppressive routines. Some arrive at their workplaces early in the morning, only to hide in libraries, parked cars, or rented rooms until the end of the workday, avoiding the relentless demands of their employers. Others, laid off and unable to return to their hometowns due to familial pressures or economic constraints, wander through parks in search of sporadic, poorly paid jobs, risking homelessness with every uncertain step. This pervasive work culture, which elevates productivity and profit above the lives, rights, and well-being of workers, is forcing China's young intellectuals and skilled labor force into a critical dilemma. They are confronted with a stark choice: to endure the nightmare of the 996 routine, or to be pushed out of the shrinking job market altogether, with only the faint hope of returning to their former companies, seeking at least a plate of food and a roof over their heads amid the collapsing economic landscape. Number 10. The Yangtze River, known locally as the Xinjiang, is the longest river in Asia. It holds a distinguished place in the continent's geography and history, ranking as the third longest river in the entire world, stretching over approximately 6,000. The Yangtze River stretches over 6,000 kilometers, making it one of the longest waterways in the world. Yet, beyond its impressive length, the Yangtze is more than just a river. It is a vital artery of China's cultural heritage, economic vitality, and social life. It embodies a rich history and serves as a lifeline for millions, symbolizing the very essence of Chinese civilization. The river's vast basin encompasses an area exceeding 1,800,000 square kilometers, which accounts for more than 18% of China's entire territory. Within this expansive region, the Yangtze sustains the livelihoods of over 550 million people, roughly 40% of the nation's population, providing essential resources and opportunities for prosperity. This mighty river supplies fresh water crucial for drinking, agriculture, and industry, while also supporting abundant fish populations that sustain local diets. Its waters irrigate countless fields, enabling the cultivation of rice, wheat, and other crops vital to China's food security. Moreover, the Yangtze acts as a major transportation corridor, facilitating the movement of goods and people between different regions. Major cities, such as Wuhan and Shanghai, owe much of their growth and development to the river's strategic importance, as it connects inland areas with coastal ports, fostering trade and economic expansion. However, decades of intensive human activity, particularly agriculture and industry, have taken a toll on the river's health. Pollution has become a serious concern as the waters are increasingly contaminated with sewage, heavy metals, and industrial waste. The scale of this contamination reached alarming levels in the year 2016, when data revealed that the Yangtze was responsible for nearly half of China's total wastewater discharge, 43%, while accounting for 60% of the country's heavy metal pollution. This environmental degradation threatens the very resources that sustain millions of people, especially the safety of drinking water supplies. The impact extends beyond pollution. The destruction of natural ecosystems along the river has led to a dramatic decline in fish populations. Once, in 1954, the Yangtze's fisheries yielded approximately 450,000 tons of fish annually, supporting local economies and diets. Today, that number has plummeted to below 100,000 tons, reflecting the devastating effects of habitat loss, overfishing, and pollution. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, conservationists and environmentalists have enforced long-term fishing bans, aiming to allow the river's ecosystems to recover and restore its biodiversity. Amid these challenges, large-scale infrastructure projects have sparked controversy. The most notable among them is the Three Gorges Dam, one of the world's largest hydroelectric power stations. It generates an astonishing 22,500 megawatts of electricity, significantly contributing to China's energy needs and reducing reliance on fossil fuels. Nonetheless, this massive engineering feat has come with significant social and environmental costs. Over 1 million people have been displaced from their homes, their lives uprooted, as the landscape was transformed. Natural scenery and ecosystems were irrevocably altered, and concerns about increased risks of landslides and earthquakes have persisted. Adding to these difficulties, climate change has intensified the river's plight. The region now experiences more frequent and severe droughts, floods, and unpredictable weather patterns. These extreme events threaten to further destabilize the delicate balance of the Yangtze's environment and economy. In response, the Chinese government has launched numerous initiatives aimed at safeguarding the river's future. These programs seek to harmonize economic development with ecological preservation, recognizing that the health of the Yangtze is intrinsically linked to the well-being of the entire nation. The Yangtze is not just a natural resource, it is a profound symbol of China's cultural and historical identity. Its waters have witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties, the growth of cities, and the unfolding of countless stories that define Chinese civilization. Protecting and restoring the river is crucial, not only for the millions of people whose livelihoods depend on it, but also for ensuring the long-term sustainability and prosperity of China as a whole. China's history of invention is legendary, marked by innovations that have profoundly influenced human progress and civilization across the globe. Among these, 4 inventions stand out as the most revolutionary and enduring, each born from Chinese ingenuity and each altering the course of history in ways that continue to resonate today. These are the compass, gunpowder, paper, and the technology of printing books. The origins of the compass can be traced back to China as early as the Warring States period, roughly the 2nd century BC. Chinese scholars discovered the magnetic properties of magnetite, a naturally occurring mineral, and harnessed this knowledge to create the first compass. Initially, this device was used for divination, guiding spiritual and philosophical practices. Over time, it was adapted for navigation, transforming seafaring and exploration. The compass's influence was profound, enabling Chinese merchants and explorers to venture further afield, expand trade routes, and develop the legendary Silk Road. This navigational tool opened up new horizons, connecting China with distant lands. In ancient times, the Chinese civilization relied on materials such as bamboo tablets, delicate sheets of silk, and even the shells of tortoises to record their thoughts, laws, and stories. These mediums, though innovative for their era, were often costly and challenging to preserve over time, making the storage and transmission of written knowledge a complex endeavor. It was only around the 2nd century BC that the Chinese innovated the earliest forms of paper, a revolutionary development that would eventually transform the way humanity documents and disseminates information. However, these early paper forms were still limited in quality, with issues related to durability and manufacturing consistency. It was not until the year 105 AD, during the height of the Han Dynasty, that a court eunuch named Kai Lun made significant improvements to the papermaking process. His innovations enhanced the paper's texture, strength, and usability, making production more efficient and accessible to a broader segment of society. Interestingly, even the paper we use today for everyday purposes, including toilet paper, finds its origins in ancient Chinese innovations. The Chinese also pioneered the earliest methods of printing, starting with woodblock techniques. During the Tang dynasty, from the 6th to the 10th century, woodcut printing flourished, allowing texts and images to be reproduced with relative ease and speed. This form of printing laid the foundation for the dissemination of literature, religious texts, and artwork across vast regions of China. In the 10th century, during the Northern Song dynasty, an extraordinary breakthrough was achieved when Bisheng developed movable type printing. This innovation allowed individual characters to be reused and rearranged, drastically reducing the time and effort required to produce multiple copies of texts. The advent of movable type revolutionized the production of books, making literature more accessible to the masses and facilitating the rapid spread of knowledge and ideas across the empire. Turning to one of the most iconic symbols of China's grandeur and historical significance, the Great Wall of China stands as an extraordinary testament to human ingenuity and resilience. This colossal structure is not merely an impressive feat of ancient engineering, but also a living emblem of the strength, endurance, and strategic foresight that characterized Chinese civilization over millennia. Extending over 21,000 kilometers, an astonishing length that encompasses a diverse array of terrains, the wall snakes through rugged mountains, sweeping deserts, and vast plains. Its majestic form resembles a mighty dragon coiling across the landscape, seemingly guarding the nation from northern invasions and external threats. The origins of the Great Wall trace back to the 2nd century BC during the reign of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, also known as Qin Shi Huang, who unified various walls built by different states into a single, formidable barrier. Over the centuries, successive dynasties, especially the Ming dynasty, expanded and reinforced the wall, adding new sections constructed from massive stones, bricks, and compacted earth, an incredible feat of craftsmanship that surpasses the imagination of its time. But the Great Wall was more than just a defensive fortification. It served as a vital artery for trade, cultural exchange, and spiritual connection among different peoples and regions. Today, the wall continues to captivate millions of visitors from around the world, standing as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1987. Among the many accessible and well-preserved sections, Badaling and Mutianyu are particularly popular, offering visitors a glimpse into history with visitor-friendly amenities. Entrance fees typically range from about 40 to 60 yuan, roughly $5.50 to $8, depending on the location and season, making it accessible for travelers from all walks of life. Visitors are advised to wear comfortable sneakers as exploring the wall involves ascending steep, uneven steps that test one's endurance. The weather can change swiftly in this region, so packing appropriate clothing and rain gear is essential. As one walks along these ancient stones, they are not merely admiring the grandeur of nature or the skill of ancient craftsmen. They can also feel the resonant echoes of history, the whispers of countless generations who built, defended, and cherished this monumental structure. For those who love exploring historical sites, experiencing the breath of history infused in every stone, and dreaming of seeing one of the most renowned wonders of the world, the Great Wall of China is an unmissable destination. Its awe-inspiring presence is truly remarkable, inspiring wonder and reflection in all who visit. Beyond the enduring legacy of the Great Wall, there are other monumental structures, some now abandoned, that tell stories of ambition, grandeur, and sometimes unfulfilled dreams. These relics of bygone eras include vast, empty cities and sprawling complexes that once symbolized economic growth and development but now stand deserted. Their construction cost billions of dollars, yet they have become silent witnesses to the rapid pace of modern urbanization and the unpredictable outcomes it can produce. These ghost towns serve as stark reminders of the immense ambitions that fueled their creation, visions of prosperity, modernity, and progress, often driven by economic policies and real estate bubbles. However, in many cases, these once bustling centers have been left to decay. Their empty streets and vacant buildings, skyscrapers, stand vacant, their glass facades reflecting an unsettling stillness, while the streets below are eerily deserted, devoid of the usual flow of cars and bustling activity. An oppressive silence hangs over these spaces, giving them the ghostly appearance of places frozen in time. One such example is Ordos, a city conceived amidst the stark, barren landscapes of Inner Mongolia, built in the shadow of vast coal mines that stretch endlessly across the horizon. When this city was planned and constructed, it was anticipated that approximately 1 million people would eventually call it home. Yet more than a decade later, the reality of Ordos paints a different picture altogether. Its population has stagnated at around 100,000 residents, far below initial expectations. Adding to the paradox, the majority of apartments, between 80 and 90%, are owned not by local families or newcomers seeking a fresh start, but by investors and speculators who purchase them purely with the hope of turning a profit. Meanwhile, genuine buyers, those who would actually inhabit these spaces, show minimal interest, leaving many units unoccupied and waiting for a future that does not seem to materialize. This phenomenon is not isolated to Ordos alone. Across China, there are approximately 65 million vacant apartments, a staggering number that could comfortably house the entire population of France. The root of this extensive emptiness lies in the widespread perception among Chinese citizens that real estate investment is one of the safest and most versatile ways to grow wealth. Given the restrictions on their ability to invest abroad freely, many see real estate as a reliable refuge, a tangible asset that guarantees security and potential profit. This belief has driven an immense demand for property, fueling a construction boom that has generated countless ghost towns and abandoned districts. Beyond individual cities, entire districts within major urban centers have fallen into disuse. Take Kunming, often called the Sunshine City, for its pleasant climate. In recent years, this once thriving area was largely deserted, and in 2021, 15 high-rise towers were demolished after the developer ran out of funds, an emblem of economic overreach and mismanagement. Or consider Evergrande, a colossal real estate conglomerate burdened with a debt of $300 billion, which led to the closure of hundreds of stores, daycare centers, and even hospitals, leaving communities hollowed out and struggling to survive amidst the fallout. Another striking example is a miniature replica of Paris, known colloquially as a Duchamp. It features a scaled-down Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, and charming streets reminiscent of a French village. Yet despite its picturesque appearance, it attracts only a handful of tourists from nearby Shanghai and has no permanent residents. Similarly, Yujia, often promoted as China's version of Manhattan, remains eerily quiet and abandoned, with shopping malls and cinemas like Yi Max long shuttered and silent. Not far from Shanghai, Thames City stands as a facsimile of London, complete with red telephone booths, fish and chip shops, and traditional English pubs. However, it remains largely deserted. The reason is straightforward. Students and teachers who might have been expected to inhabit such a place cannot afford the high housing costs, leaving the area empty and unused. Yet amid these stories of ghostly districts, there are also tales of revival. Chengong in Yunnan province, for instance, managed to break the curse of abandonment. Originally, it was nothing more than a barren wasteland, a site designated for a city that never materialized. Today, during the winter months, it comes alive with energy and activity. Students from 7 nearby universities flock to Chengong, transforming it into a bustling hub of youthful vitality. Stores like Zara and H&M open their doors, night markets buzz with life, and cozy cafes fill the streets with warmth and chatter, breathing new life into what was once a deserted construction site. Off the coast of Shanghai lies Pudong, a district that exemplifies the potential of determined development. During the 1990s, it was met with skepticism and derision. The renowned economic magazine The Economist famously dismissed it as a grandiose monument built for a dead pharaoh, criticizing its numerous empty buildings, 70% of which stood vacant in 1998. Despite this, the local government persisted, relocating government agencies and offering incentives to attract international businesses and investors. Their efforts paid off. By the year 2022, Pudong's gross domestic product surpassed $400 billion, and its population density even exceeded that of the bustling heart of Manhattan in New York City. These contrasting examples serve as compelling evidence that rapid economic growth driven by construction and real estate investment can serve as a powerful catalyst for development and prosperity. However, they also reveal the darker side of such growth, the catastrophic consequences of unchecked expansion. Entire cities and districts, abandoned and decaying, stand as stark reminders of the insatiable thirst for concrete and development. Only through a careful partnership between the state and the market, focused on sustainable number 14. Feng Shui, a profound practice deeply embedded in Chinese culture for over 1,000 years, remains an intriguing blend of mysticism and philosophy. It is often regarded as a spiritual science that harmonizes the energies of the universe with our earthly environment. Rooted in ancient Chinese thought, Feng Shui weaves together the principles of yin and yang, complementary forces that embody balance and duality alongside the 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. These elements are believed to interact dynamically, influencing the flow of spiritual energies, or qi, that permeate the land, buildings, and even individuals' lives. Many consider Feng Shui akin to a spiritual compass, guiding decisions about where to locate homes, offices, and burial sites with the aim of attracting prosperity, health, and harmony. This practice is not merely about arranging furniture or selecting auspicious dates. It is an intricate system that reflects a profound understanding of natural forces and their mystical influence on human destiny. According to legend, the origins of Feng Shui trace back to the era of the Yellow Emperor, a legendary ruler who sought the counsel of a master famed for his understanding of earth energies. The story tells that the Yellow Emperor tasked this master with identifying the dragon veins, subtle energy lines coursing beneath the Earth's surface, believed to be vital for the foundation of a harmonious palace. Success in this endeavor not only resulted in the construction of a magnificent imperial residence, but also contributed to the eventual unification of the empire, illustrating the profound impact Feng Shui was believed to have on the destiny of nations. Throughout subsequent centuries, especially during the flourishing Tang and Song dynasties, Feng Shui evolved into a sophisticated discipline, giving rise to numerous schools and schools of thought. Among these, notable branches such as Dragonhead, Liqi, and Shuangkong Feixing emerged, each emphasizing different techniques and philosophies for harnessing the Earth's energies. Today, Feng Shui continues to hold a prominent place in Chinese society, with master practitioners playing influential roles. For instance, Master Leon Tai Wei, widely known in Hong Kong as Master Noan Feng Shui, has offered guidance to some of the city's wealthiest individuals, including billionaire Li Keqiang, as well as high-ranking political figures. Similarly, Master Sun Dalin is credited with transforming the fortunes of a prominent Hong Kong real estate magnate by simply altering the orientation of the main entrance, an act believed to redirect positive energy and bring about a more prosperous future. Despite skepticism from many outside the tradition, for Chinese businessmen and politicians, Feng Shui remains a vital tool, an art that can influence prosperity, success, and even the legacy of entire families. It serves as a bridge between the tangible and the mystical, guiding not only material wealth, but also safeguarding the well-being of future generations. As the saying goes, only those favored by fate are privy to its deepest secrets. And in the realm of feng shui, this mystical art continues to be a closely guarded, revered knowledge. Number 15. The one-child policy, implemented across China for over 35 years, has left an indelible mark on the nation's social fabric and long-term development. Introduced in 1980, this policy was a strategic response to the country's rapid population growth, aiming to prevent food shortages, alleviate pressure on resources, and support sustainable economic progress. The government believed that limiting families to a single child would stabilize demographic trends and facilitate modernization. However, after more than 3 decades of enforcement, the policy's far-reaching and often unintended consequences have become increasingly apparent, revealing a complex tapestry of social, economic, and cultural repercussions. One of the most significant effects has been the emergence of a generation of only children, young individuals who grew up without siblings, often bearing the heavy burden of caring for aging parents and grandparents. This phenomenon has created what is sometimes called the family of 4. 4 grandparents, 2 parents, and 1 child. This small family unit, while perhaps easier to manage in some respects, has also become an emotional and financial challenge, especially in a society where traditional filial piety and collective support systems are waning or insufficient. The responsibility placed on this single child to provide emotional support and financial security to an entire lineage has been immense, often leading to feelings of isolation and stress. Furthermore, the policy inadvertently fostered a profound gender imbalance rooted in deep-seated cultural preferences for sons, viewed historically as carriers of the family name and providers for old age. As a result, millions of families favored male offspring, leading to a significant surplus of males and a corresponding deficit of females. By the year 2050, projections indicated that nearly a third of China's population might be composed of individuals without siblings, and many men could find themselves unable to find wives, creating a demographic skew with potentially destabilizing social consequences. This imbalance threatens to produce a generation plagued by loneliness, depression, and frustration, with some experts warning of an increase in social unrest and criminal activity as a result. The economic implications are equally profound. The shrinking pool of young workers is gradually reducing. The one-child policy, initially introduced as a temporary emergency measure aimed at controlling the rapid escalation of China's population, was designed to serve a specific purpose during a critical period. At that time, the government believed that limiting families to a single child could help alleviate the immense pressure on resources, infrastructure, and social services, thereby stabilizing the country's demographic trajectory. However, what was once regarded as a necessary and strategic response has, over the years, evolved into a complex issue with profound and far-reaching consequences. Today, the long-term effects of this policy are becoming increasingly evident, and they present significant hurdles to China's aspirations for sustainable development in the future. The demographic shifts induced by decades of strict population control have led to an aging population, shrinking workforce, and changing family structures, all of which challenge the country's economic growth, social stability, and overall progress. The repercussions of these policies extend beyond mere numbers on a chart. They influence the very fabric of society and the nation's ability to maintain its development goals over the coming decades. I hope you found today's discussion engaging and informative. If you did, please remember to click the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of our upcoming explorations into fascinating topics. Your support is invaluable, enabling us to continue producing insightful and compelling content that broadens understanding and sparks curiosity. Be sure to check out the next video that appears on the screen, as I am confident you will find it interesting and worth your time. Also, don't forget to leave a comment sharing which country you would like us to explore next. Your suggestions help shape the content we create. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.